So, first of all, thanks a lot, Joy, for accepting our invitation. Because I have been following you from I think more than 2 years on LinkedIn now, and it is almost. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, but it is almost like a dream coming true that I want to have a conversation. A person like you who is into a business of humanizing business. I mean, it's just unbelievably amazing concept, first of all, and we would love to have a conversation around that. So
Sure.
before that, I'd just like to give you a small perspective why we have started this podcast. So I and Tauseef have been connected more than 2.5 years back, and we had this. We started having a lot of conversation on telephone, though we have not met yet personally in 2.5 years because Tauseef is living in Delhi. I'm from Surat, Gujarat. We are just internet buddies. So we had a lot of detailed conversation around life, that what exactly happened in his life, what happened in my life, and then we found something that kind of experiences where we were living a completely different life, but
Hmm.
after that particular experiences, we have literally started living a different life altogether. you know and one more common perspective which we observed is that we have been taught that you should get good grades in your school and college so that you can get a good job,
Right, right.
and then you can earn a good money by which you can live a good life. But then we thought that is it just enough to live that good enough life, because life is way beyond that, living that good enough life. So that's why we thought that let's start taking this conversation to the next level and start talking to people who are also having the same kind of feelings or emotions around life, that they can share their life stories which has started teaching them that the way life they used to live is completely
Mm,
different which they are living now.
mm.
And that's
Absolutely.
how we started this podcast. And once again, thanks a lot for accepting our invitation and giving this precious time of your life. I know it's pretty late in your country where you are living, though you are taking a part in this conversation. So thanks a lot. And definitely I would invite, or I would request my co-host Tausif to talk about something about you. Please, Tausif.
I think Piyush, I know Joy as much as you know him, because
Yeah.
I believe that I am also connected with him from last 2.5 years. Uh, I often, there are a couple of people on LinkedIn whom I feel like they are my big brothers, and I have a lot of respect for them. And Joy, you are one of them. And as Piyush, you said that you have been following Joy for last 2.5 years. So do I. Uh, I have been really impressed, and especially I feel very grateful and thankful for receiving the support that I should have expected from a person like my big brother. He and Sahib Yusuf, he's another person. So these two person, no matter where I am, what do I post, they will always contribute to my post, and they will always encourage. And these are the few people, including you, Piyush, because of which I have started my journey on LinkedIn. So I feel really amazing that I'm talking to you 101, and it's a great opportunity for us to learn from you as well today. So I would feel very little to introduce you. You are a very great personality, having tons of experience working as a on a very senior positions in multiple organizations. I am passed out, and all I can say is humanizing business is something that always catch the attention, as I definitely resonate with Piyush. And to be very specific, as you always brand that, so Joy is someone who basically help brands, help companies, businesses to create impact and influence using the marketing, in the marketing. So to sum up, I can say that Joy is synonym to marketing. So so absolutely, I mean, I have a lot to talk about Joy, but I would definitely like to listen from Joy himself. And to understand more deeply about what he do, who he is. And absolutely, well, my our audience would also like to learn a lot from you, from your experience, and I'm sure that they are going to get enriched. So over to you, Joy.
Piyush, Tauseef, first and foremost, thank you. I'm I'm privileged to be on this show. Like we I was saying as we started, that this is one of the best things you guys could have done to start life. Indeed, the podcast, so to speak. Second part is that don't worry about it being late. I mean, we and I'll give you why I'm saying this statement. If we don't support each other, nothing is going to grow, right?
Right.
So, Piyush, you said I'm giving my time. Time is the only thing I have available, and time is the only thing that is common between the three of us right now that we are giving to each other. Whether we take 30 minutes or 1 hour, whether it is 9 o'clock at your end and 11:30 p.m. at my end, that's irrelevant. But that 90 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever time, we are actually giving it to each other. Now, that's a bit of energy,
Yes.
and this might be a little philosophical slash spiritual slash universal out there, but the three brains are actually wanting good from each other. So what's
Absolutely.
happening in this moment of time present is that goodness is forming. There's only one way this whole thing goes. As you keep doing this every week, when you do it every Thursday, you're adding. I'm sorry, I have to go into a bit of Hindi. बूंद बूंद करके सागर बनता है.
Yes.
बिल्कुल सही.
Though I am first language is English, but I've lived and worked in India for 24 years, and in Hindi and Urdu and Bengali become more easier to communicate in when you need to get a point across. So that's to come and help. Other than that, there is no purpose for a human being. 7.6 billion of us across the globe. The day we understand that we are not yellow, brown, white, whatever, we are there for a purpose. And the first basic common denominator is, can we just help? Doesn't matter if you're in Surat, Tauseef, you're in Delhi, and I'm in Kuala Lumpur. Doesn't matter,
True.
because this is where we are. Technology brings us together. We are on a virtual platform together in the same moment in time, and time is our construct. So thank you for having me. I'm privileged, I'm honored, and I would say that on social, a lot of people may not realize this, but from a marketing perspective, I'm telling you this. Customers, people. Us people who are employees or business owners are people. And
Yes.
people is a unique creation. And it's a creation. I call it a creation from my, maybe from my faith, not maybe, from my faith perspective as well as from my belief perspective. The creation is so unique that in spite of us having AI that will replace us and process work and all of that, this creation actually is able to pick out by the visuals and by the word, which is why we have body language and tonality and active words and context words. It is able to pick out who's genuine slash, I'll use the word authentic, though I try and stay away from it, who is actually real from their heart. So Tauseef, just to your point that my brother from another mother, Sahib, and I always comment, the reason for that is we've been where you are. I've been where you are. I haven't come, I don't even think I've achieved anything till date, honestly. Kya? 61,000 followers. What's the big deal? There are people with 1 million, 10 million plus out there. But is that my benchmark? No, my benchmark is 6 people that I've helped in their businesses during the COVID is actually my sartaj, is actually the crown jewel for me, not my achievements in the 32 year of corporate career.
Absolutely.
Point being,
Absolutely.
if you don't help another person, there is no way you yourself are going to do good.
Correct.
I mean, because, so this is, I'm leading into my humanizing business. Take any role, give me any role that as a man or a woman we play throughout the day. Whether we are a child, We are a young adult, teenager, householder, married, no kids, married, 2 kids, senior citizen, whatever the level. Our goodness starts with home, family.
Hmm.
And now I'm going to fall back a little bit and be a little communal. Our Indian Pakistani group together, that subcontinent, is very strongly rooted in family values,
Absolutely true.
family name. What is family name? Legacy, reputation slash legacy. Now that is where we start doing our good. This is where we were taught, Piyush, as you said, paro, get good grades. Then the good grades will help you to get a good job, because no fault of our buzurgs and our elders, but
True.
50 years ago, that's what they were told when they were 20
Yes.
years old,
Yes.
right? So they just passing the same message forward to us, to you guys. To me, I've had the same thing. 40 years ago, I've been told I mean, look, can you imagine in today's day and age, you get married without, you meet your bride, you meet your wife, but you don't tell your father, excuse me, dad, but I'd like to concentrate on my career and I'm not very sure I'm cut out for this marriage thing. Maybe it might resonate with you guys because I'm coming from a very Indian psyche over here.
Correct.
Okay. You do it.
Right.
You don't say, you get seen, you don't get heard. Children are seen, not to be heard. Sounds familiar? We grow up with that. When we
Yes.
grow up with that, we go to university, we are to be seen, not to be heard. By mistake, if we are heard, either we are a lafanga or we are, getting rusticated, or we are speaking out too much in the face. And this, Piyush, I'm now transgressing into your area. This affects people's personal branding as college graduates, as
Right.
young job seekers. And then we carry that forward into our work. Now imagine somebody who's worked for 6 to 7 years and have just moved out of the junior mid executive to a senior executive, going to become a manager. The biases and the conditioning are still kicking.
Yes.
Hmm.
The action and behavior to lead your executive members of your team is still the same. And
Correct.
then factor in on top of that, boss kept me working on Saturdays and Sundays before the campaign or before the project like nobody's business. Hard work, right? Make sure the team is working 4 Saturdays in a row. 9 a.m., 9 p.m. Nobody's, order them pizzas, order them kathi rolls, whatever it is, give them in the office. This is pre-COVID scenario. So I've gone through that for 32, 33 years. I've gone through that across Delhi, Calcutta, Bangalore, Hyderabad in India, Islamabad, Colombo, Kuala Lumpur, partly in Dubai, out of here, and Singapore. Everywhere, 8 industries. You can look at, anybody can go and look at my profile, you'll get it. When I came out in 2018, it took me whole of 2018 to literally have 2 life learnings. Just imagine, after 3 decades in corporate, my first life learning was I don't have a bloody network. Sorry for the French. Pardon me. I don't have a network, i.e., I don't have a network that I can pick up on the phone and say, I'm done with this role. I finished off. I can't get a renewal. I need a new role. Can you place me? Or can I come in and see you? I didn't have a network. A lot of this old boys network works very well back in India and everywhere else. Don't have it. Nowadays, it's not so much. But I realized I was a fantastic professional. I realized looking at my certificates and my little letters of appreciation and, employee of the year and professional manager of nonsense, they're pieces of paper. I realized that my elder 2 kids had grown. Suddenly, I remembered them 3, 4 years, and then suddenly they were 20 years old. Excuse me, what happened? Going off to do their masters, then starting to work, and I'm like, okay. So that was the first part. No network, life had passed me by. What do I have to show for it? I'll be very honest, I'll be very frank. I had 10 months of cash flow to show for it at the end of 33 years. Real cash to run my family of 4 people, 2 young kids, my wife and I. 2 elder kids are overseas and gone, settled by themselves. I had 10 months on the same level that I was earning in terms of my salary.
Hmm.
Eh, Learning number one. Learning number two was, a sub learning of this was, I had worked far too long in one job. I had spent 7 years in a very niche industry where I thought I was cat's whiskers. I thought that little thimble, it's like a one pollen, that bubble was actually the whole universe. And in that, I was going to conferences, representing the company, talking to clients, getting business deals, doing thought leadership work, doing their marketing, hitting numbers like that. I was like, when I came out of it, then I realized, oh my God, this whole industry is, at that point in time, was some 2 or 3% of the global industry, of the mainstream part. And so I'm like an ant and I'm expecting I'm able to see myself from the moon. You must be kidding me. Other than seeing the outline of the continents, you can't see anything. So this was one part. The second part was this whole question, who am I? I really went through, I won't call it a meltdown or a nervous breakdown, but in place of asking them, it was $1 million plus question for me to say, okay, so I'm at an age point where I'm being told all the time I'm overqualified, which is the disguised version of, sir, you're too old. So we want a
So, Piyush,
25-year-old with, yeah,
sorry
It's
to
a very
interrupt you.
sophisticated way
So,
of saying that.
what was your age when you realized this?
55.
55.
Just imagine.
So, at the age of 55, you had this realization that who am I? I mean, that's a bit scary as well.
No, Piyush, I come from a generation which is between Generation X and baby boomers,
Mm-hmm.
as a result of which you don't think, you do. You
Right.
are a process automation. You've been handed your process from your pedigree. And by pedigree, I mean from uncles and parents and
True.
everybody. And I come from a very diverse background. I'm a British national. First
Mm-hmm.
13 years of my life, born and brought up third generation UK. The next 24 years, Delhi, Calcutta, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Delhi, Tauseef, by the way, my life started in Nizamuddin East.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just made
giving
a
you
visit
that so
yesterday.
you know exactly. Now you go back to 1976, 1977
Hmm.
and ask your parents about Nizamuddin East. It's not the same Nizamuddin East that you know today.
Correct.
Today there are different issues, but then there was different issues. Okay. After 24 years, I had an opportunity. I spent 19 years of my life working with global ad agencies like J. Walter Thompson and Leo Burnett, and in India, Mudra for the DDB Needham and everything. I came to Malaysia with Leo Burnett. It's been 20 years. I'm on my 21st year, literally 2000, and I'm going into 21, right? My wife is Malaysian. My two younger kids are Malaysian. I'm British. My two elder kids are Indian. You can't be more diverse than this. Yeah, I was previously married. So, diversity is at home. I've been a sailor who's gone to a lot of ports. I've worked across 8 industries and equal number of organizations. And the understanding or the realization that I had is when I asked myself, who am I looked at my entire professional life and I took away my tags: general manager, strategic planner, chief marketing officer, strategic marketing head. I took away all of those. The only thing that kept staying is Joy Abdullah, Joy Abdullah, Joy Abdullah, which is my short, my brand name that I've used professionally for 20 years, 24 years to be very precise. And I said, who's this dude? What does he have? What makes him stand out? What's different between me and 1.4 billion people in India? I'm Indian. I'm sorry, you can take the Indian out of India, you can't take India out of the Indian. I hold technically a Brit passport. My first language is English, but dil to desi hai. I'm from my heart, I'm Indian. I still,
Hindustani.
I still support the Indian cricket team against UK. Sorry, but that's how it works. Um, so I realized I've got to rebuild myself. And I said, okay, so the only strength that I have for 30 plus years, I've actually seen the entire discipline of marketing go from Stone Age, or the best example I can give, if you can recall any ads, is the Marlboro Man smoking,
Hmm.
classic Leo Burnett ad.
Right.
Go to what we are doing today in terms of organic content marketing and social listening and all the tools and everything. I've gone through it. When I started my work as a management trainee out of my B school, I used to use an electronic typewriter to do my business meeting reports, an electronic typewriter, right? Or I had to write it out properly by hand on the old fashioned writing pads,
Very
plain
traditional, yeah.
thing, and I
Right.
had lousy handwriting and give it to the steno pool. We had those clickety clacks, 7, 8 ladies on thing doing steno pools where you'll get your paper back God knows when. If you're lucky, if she loves you, she'll give it to you the next day. Otherwise, so I learned typing in school, used to use a electronic typewriter. I don't even remember where the typewriter is now, to be very honest. I used to do my own writing on an old Remington brand ribbon wala. Niche red, upar black, that kind of a thing. So I took that learning. I said, I've seen this discipline evolve. Let's take it. And I went forward and I did two, three things. I failed miserably. Oh, I might be a damn good corporate professional with a lot of support, a lot of success. And then I had that realization that I know shit all. The reason for that is when you work in a corporate organization, you're like an organ inside a skeleton within a structure. So there are other organs working in your body that makes you work. So you're working in an ecosystem which has a process and you just plug into it and you flow along. And if you're a little above average and intelligent, boom, you're gone. So long story short, I understood who I am as a person, as a father, as a husband, as a brother, as a professional. And it took me on a journey where I tried about three things. And, till about last year, I was having a hard time, but failure is a damn good way to learn. And nothing, number one. Number two is do it yourself. You know, as I said, I spent 19 years in advertising. I never wrote a line of copy. Today my English writing has actually, I'm proud of what I write. I'm not going to go and do a PhD in language, but I'm just fulfilled at my writing. Number one. Number two, I've worked on thousands of ad films, the old cinema advertising plus TV advertising and the whole 9 yards. I've never ever gone behind a camera for the life. I've been on the front of a camera. I've done, interview shows and stuff like that, but I've never done editing. There have been people trained to do it, right? Sahib, hats off to him. I think it was November, December 2018, got me started on video. We started our podcast called Create the Edge. We ran it, second season was last year when we ran it for COVID. And first year, 152 episodes, yours truly learned how to do video editing. And not, we had hour-long plus conversations. It cut down to 9 minutes and 45 seconds for LinkedIn postings.
Right.
And you name the variations for the speakers that were there. You taught yourself. That was the second learning. Doing it yourself, you know exactly what amount of time and effort and everything. And finally, I arrived at towards the last quarter of last year, where for many days, बहुत सालों से, I mean, while I was working, while I was going through this 3 year journey, which by the way, just a slight digression, the trials, the tribulations, the courage, I published in a chapter in a book called Becoming You, Stories of Vulnerability and Courage. It's on Amazon. You can get it from the featured profile on my LinkedIn. It's with 6 other co-authors who shared from various parts of the world, shared their own journey. And I wrote it with two objectives or 2 points in my head. One, I wrote it for all Indian current corporate professionals in the age of 40 to 45. So if anybody's on this show right now falling into that bracket where you are just getting into real leadership roles and you've got a fancy 6-7 lakh salary and your Honda Accord and everything is looking hunky dory, please try and have a read or just listen to my audio clips because you're living in a bubble. It's time you prepared and found your own value. That's what I've shared. The second reason I wrote it was I wanted people to know that it's never too late. if I can do it and I can find at 55, and Colonel Sanders did KFC at, I don't know, 65 or something, but there are tons of stories of people where age is an irrelevant number. It's only in your mind. I mean, I'll be very honest, guys. I still think like a 30 to 35-year-old punk. I'm
Same.
using this 35-year-old punk. And what I love, I actually, you know, I used to love boxing at one point in time, but classes and everything, that's like a 40-year, no, not 40, but 25 years ago kind of a dream. Even today, I love to take on performance marketing punks who come with gimmicks and gizmos and everything. And all of this, sorry, I'm giving you my side and I'm giving you the professional side. So it's for life indeed. That's joy.
Yeah,
Joy doesn't
exactly.
back down from a challenge, but joy has the humility and the vulnerability to say, I don't know, I'm going to find out and I'm going to come back to you. I also have the vulnerability and the courage to say, this is मेरे बस की बात नहीं है. I can't do this, but I'm not going to leave you without a referral. Somebody is going to know somebody who knows somebody who can help you. So
Right.
that's it. And as I said, for a long time it was boiling me that having worked in so many organizations, I remembered, as I said, when I took away my designations, I remembered what was I? I was a number. Every organization, 12 months of the year, I would get a piece of paper, electronic or physical, with an employee number. And I've always had this behind that what is the difference between an employee number and a caddy number or a
Correct.
J convict number? Hang on. So you commit a crime, you get sentenced to jail. You go to jail and your entire identity is erased and you have a number and the number is etched onto your uniform and everything and you're addressed by that number. You're not addressed by your name. In an organization, the only difference is you're very well dressed, you're stuck inside four walls, 9 to 5, whatever time period of your life, okay, and you're addressed by either your surname, your designation, or in some cases, people who might be a little friendly by your first name. So the moment somebody who addresses by your first name switches to your surname or goes into sir or designation or buddy, you know that your antenna stand up, something's garbage somewhere. It's not happening. Okay. That started bothering me to say, why haven't businesses really, what, so that we call it human resource, but where's the resource part of the human? Why aren't we using it? Why do we have this? So when I did marketing from ad agency days and into the client side, I used to always try and bring functional people with skills into the campaign. So what I used to do is I would develop the marketing exercise as a project map. Yeah, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. I'm going to do this as a project map. But for this, I need you from IT to join me. So you've got to not just sit in onto the weekly team meeting, but you've got to help my team cross check and you're going to take this part of the accountability. You go do how you want to do it. None of your problem. So I realized that bringing these cross-functional team members, two things would happen. People would love working. And then within an organization, people would keep coming up and saying, Joy, when are you running something additional? Do you think there's a thing? I want to take a try on doing something on Reddit, on Medium content. And the guy is, like doing something mundane, some non-functional, absolutely. So I picked those out and I said, okay, now let's look at the sector. I've worked primarily on B2B. It's been a conscious career choice all throughout my career. I've not worked in retail or FMCG because I have got certain biases. I don't think your career goes or you really learn anything in depth. It's very fleeting. All right. So I decided to go to B2B and say, hey, look, your choice of doing business the way you're doing is fine. Right. But here's what I do. I get your employees and your business to align. And the first question, what do you mean my business to align? I said, why are you in business? I would like to make my 10 million this year. I said, great. Just humor me and tell me. So you've hit 10 million. We are sitting at the end of the year internal audit. You can see your sales receivables coming in at 10 over million. You've done it. What's your goal for year two? About 6, 7 out of 10 would be like, I think we'll go up by about 20-25%. I said, all right. So arrive at end of year two. You've hit 13 million, 14 million. What's your goal for year three? And that questioning would lead them to realize that they arrive at a point where they'll say, I'm going to sell off, or they're going to go the other way to say, what are you getting at? So the ones who said they're selling off, I said, sell off your business now. Why are you wasting your own time? You're going to put in a huge amount of hard work, take scaling your business up to millions, and you're going to grow it from 5, 6 people to like 30 people, all to just sell off. You might as well sell the idea to somebody on a piece of paper and go home and invest it in, bonds or something and live happy, because your ambition is limited. But the guys who would say, what are you getting at? I would say, what's your purpose? What does your business solve in terms of an interest or a need that you think is either hidden or can come up? And then that discussion becomes very good. So, which is why today, and I also don't have the bandwidth, I must be very honest. I don't work with more than 4 clients at a time, because I work 16 weeks, 4 clients, 1 client a week per month. So every client gets me continuously for 6 days of the week over the month. All right. And then I run a program. So this is humanizing business. It's all about looking at your people, getting rid of the silos of functions and bringing people to say, all right, what's our purpose? What's the value we can give? Identifying who's your ideal customer. It's not everybody who's 40 to 45, earning 5 lakhs a month, staying in NCR, that's too wide a net. Go down. Oh, I'm talking exactly into Noida and whole of Noida, and I'm looking at a 40 to 45-year-old who has Japanese cars but is actually using his motorcycle or his scooter, but also has a Royal Enfield. Now that kind of insight from data is a huge different finding. But when you go niche, you really are able to do profiling to understand what's this person's like, dislike, interest, hopes, values. And then you bring that to your content team to say, can you look at my values, my brand values? And this guy has got something over there, which can we connect? What's the emotional story? So, for example, a couple of like Cadbury's Diwali ad helping small businesses last year. Okay. The other one was one, I don't know if it was Aristocrat or Samsonite, not Aristocrat, Samsonite. I remember, it still sticks in my head. This is the beauty of that communication. It changes. You don't, to use a jargon, you don't sell, you converse. You make your community person, your target audience, your customer feel that come to me because I have something of value, you refer to me. So it starts flipping marketing from becoming the arm of sales to create leads and inquiries to becoming what is now commonly known as a storyteller. And I take it one level higher. You're not a storyteller. A storyteller is, Amar Chitra Katha and Aesop's fables and all of that. But you are actually a thought leader in the sense that you find out for your brand, personal or business, what is the area that your community, and by community I mean your employees and your customers and your stakeholders, your ideal customers, stakeholders and employees, because talent is a critical part of that humanizing of human. Customers is an equally critical part, and stakeholders are people who's going to invest and want a return, right? So you got to have the right ideal. What is the ideal? Ideal is where you have a matching of purpose and value, not dollars and cents, because you get lots of investors who want a particular return, but very few actually marry in from a purpose area, which happens in not-for-profit, NGO kind of areas, So, okay. And this is humanizing business. You go to them and you create the marketing over using a process that I have, a program that I have, where I converge personal branding for employees and senior management and business owner where required. Converge in the sense that 8 out of 10 times they don't have a personal branding. Everybody has a social media account, but they don't have a personal brand.
True.
They just ramble and rant about everything from the pani puri to the the Uber guy who was not polite enough or was 5 minutes late. So profile the employees to see is the personality. There's a HR personality profiling to see attitudinal fit with values of the brand, and then look and see, are they really committed? Will they take personal branding? Because what this personal branding bit in business does is that it becomes a huge employee engagement area. The employees start saying, wow, I'm going to be showcasing the brand, but before that, I'm having to showcase myself and the company is helping me do it. Fantastic. Let me help the company. It leads to advocacy. Now, when that advocacy starts going out, here's where you don't need to do Shah Rukh Khan's and the others of the world of influencer marketing, because this is what I'm now connecting back to what I started with. As people, we connect automatically to that genuinity. I don't know Ram Avtar Singh, but I am reading what he's saying and I use X, whatever the brand is. And because he works there, if he says he works there, he earns his salary, he feeds his family. A lot of connections happen in our mind. This is truth. I believe him. And this is also the
And
flip side.
that's why we say that we don't buy goods and services, we buy trust.
Correct. And this is also the flip side of what social media does when you need to spread disinformation. It works exactly the same way, right? So when you build this personal brand and that advocacy happens and it ripples out as engagement, okay, it goes out to customer. The customer is realizing it's open. Suddenly that white noise, it stands out amongst that white noise to say, hey, this is of interest to me. You start conversation. And when you start that conversation, you drop into today's technology of social media farming, as I call it, using listening tools and automation tools to actually feed that particular customer the information slash within bracket content that the customer is looking for. Everybody is looking for something. Google search is the biggest place. But hey, hang on. You can replace Google search by being the go-to guy. It's not going to happen in 4 weeks. It's going to happen in about 8 months. So that's it. I converge personal branding, creating employee advocacy, and then I take that into brand communication. So while we are working on the brand communication from the classic brand identity, brand strategy, and brand marketing perspective, these two legs of personal branding of the employee and the employee advocacy becomes big. So which is why I take 16 weeks. So why? Just a sales plug directly. It takes 4 weeks to do the process internally, to have the team together, select the people, and get people aligned to understand who they are, because a lot of the times people can't write their own post or their own videos. So there is a couple of teams I work remotely to help. I bring them on, let them negotiate, work with the business, and create that personal thing. And then there is a 12-week period where all these three legs are working onto a schedule, right? They're working pulsating. Now, when all three are working, they're not all, you can't have three bowlers bowl at the same time. You have one bowler and one batsman, right? So when three bowlers have to bowl, it's rotating, right? So you've got to give it a certain amount of time, which is why I take a minimum of a quarter to deliver certain pre-agreed measurement criterias, whether they are sales numbers, inquiries, or tracking, or whatever be the requirement to the client. And then that brings up 4 months, 16 weeks, which roughly spills into about 4.5 calendar months. And then we have a meeting to discuss, all right, the team's ready. Do you really need me to be there for 1 week of the month, or would you much rather take 10 hours of my time over that 22 working days? And I'm out. Then a couple of organizations, I am an advisor, I've still stuck on, it's a retainer basis for the whole year. It's security. They just feel that go to Joy and things will work like magic. It doesn't work that. It's scientific, based in rationality, but connecting from the heart. So humanizing business is just that. So if you see my tagline, it says, you can see it, just
Helping B2B,
you can see it here.
humanizing business.
Humanizing business
Because people matter. That's it. That sums up everything. It's all about people. So today business is, if you understand it's about people, the first 2-3 things that happens, and this is Tauseef's area, kindness, appreciation, and goodness will automatically have to follow. Now, those are positives, if you're kind and you appreciate and you're good, it's very hard not to smile. When you smile, scientifically we know we have a lot of good hormones and chemicals that give us whatever we need to. You feel good. When you feel good, your behavior is good, your mindset is good, your output, your communication is good, which is what I posted on today. That's in essence humanizing business. And it all comes from having been able to find myself, which is why the article on my LinkedIn featured post says how I found myself, not how I found $1 million or whatever. And honestly, it's been written more for myself than for anything else, but it's been written to say I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, and I'm extremely wealthy. And I want to make a point on this one. In a world that runs still on money. Note, I did not say I'm rich. I'm wealthy. I have a family, a wife that loves me, kids that respect and love me, right? My world is made because I have to live up to that. That's my immediate core.
Absolutely.
Two, I have bhais like you giving me the appreciation that you're giving. Now I can't afford to slip up. Pressure. But that's the second one. There is a group, the second ring, you feel good, you're fulfilled. What more do you want? You're getting good blessings slash wishes, right? Which for me translates to be a huge amount of wealth. Now all I can do with that wealth is A, help businesses, which is my specialization and experience, to understand the value people bring in their business. After all, if somebody is working as an employee, he's not working there by choice. He's working there because somebody's told him, do hard work. You will improve your better in life. Let's go with that. So if somebody's coming with that mentality and somebody's doing business, somebody's been told keep doing business because business is how you grow your family wealth. So see, you've got a matching of goal. You want to grow your wealth. And this guy wants to grow his life or his richness, right? Marry the two. Great. We both want to make money. Now, how can we do it? That's a great goal to have. But see what's happened. The business owner and the employee are on the same page, on the same landing. So the business owner, when they make that profit, is not going to only wait for Diwali bonus. Is going to say, you know what? I'm bumping you up. You've done excellently. Thank you for helping me earn. So in turn, you're going to get this for the next 12 months. Or I'm going to give it for your children's school admission or your house or whatever it is. Fine. You know, there are lots of companies like this in India. They're doing great stuff. So I can help with that. And the only other way is tell people or share with people. So personal branding, Piyush, your area. I don't go out as a personal branding coach. I work with mid-career or corporate executives going into entrepreneurship and send them to people like you by saying, here's your foundation. I can sit with you, I can talk to you. I've got a process, 3M. Meaning, makeup, message. Meaning is your purpose, value, interest. Makeup is what exactly is it that you want to deliver? What's the value that people will have from Tauseef or from Piyush or from Joy when you're communicating? And message is message. What's your story? You got to own your story. So it goes back to, do you know yourself? Self-awareness. So I help in that. These are my two things. And by God's grace, I've got a roof over my head. I've got internet. I'm talking to you guys on a different time zone, few thousand kilometers away. I'm amongst the blessed few in this world. Now we can discuss and say COVID was bad, COVID locked us in, and all of that. But I can tell you this, we were going to reach where we are today probably in 3 to 4, maybe 5 years time, given how technology was ramping up. It was only a matter of time because business travel, air travel, everything was becoming, that money was adding on and becoming very expensive. So COVID, it's a natural cause, God-given cause, whichever aspect we come from it. It basically is a pause/reset. And what it's done, my summary, my understanding is it's made us human. It's made us realize our priorities. It's made us, because we've had to stick inside an apartment with screaming kids and spouses and wash dishes and do Zoom meetings, No, let's be honest. I mean,
Absolutely.
I do house chores because that's it. We don't have, buys and all help like in India. But even then, we've never done it. Even if we've been, university, school, college, everything has been outside. Everything has been a brick and mortar. You go to some place, you take that commute, right? And all of a sudden, you can't step out of your apartment block. So if you want to walk, you got to walk in the car park or go to the terrace garden. Otherwise, have your cup of tea leaning out of your balcony and looking at what's going on down, like we would do for Holi or whatever, right? So it mentally affects us, and this 1 year has changed human behavior. And the
Yes.
change that I, from a marketing angle, that I find is that what I mentioned, we are looking out for transparency. We are looking out for genuineness. We are connecting with, and Tauseef, this is what I was mentioning before we started going live, is people are connecting to that little bit of emotional realness.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's not that perfect shot. It's not that perfect video. It's that, like you do. Here's my learning. I learned this, and here's my tips. Here's two, three, boom, 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 you're out. And I don't like using the word authentic, so I replace it with real. It's real. As marketeers, we get tired because we are doing the content. I'm not
Absolutely.
marketeer, content creator. We are doing the content, we are writing it and everything. And sometimes I feel like, oh, this is boring. Let's not do it. But then I remember consistency, perseverance, patience, CPP. Sorry, I'm an acronym guy, so I break everything down into acronyms.
It's one of the best
Um,
way.
and just go behind it. Just keep at it. It's okay. I know my goals. I know what I have to achieve. Great if I achieve it, but it's not earth shattering if it doesn't happen. You carry on. It's life. So you got to be always got to remember you have an off spin bowler bowling at you, and you're a right hand batsman. So you know it's going to curl outside the off stump, and the guy comes and bowls you, suddenly gives you a straight ball. You see the delivery, good length pitch, and suddenly you've got that fraction of a second, front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot. Life. That's exactly how
That's how
life is.
life
I'm not
is.
going to
Yes.
say life is a curve ball or all of it. Suddenly you
True.
get a straight ball, and because we are so tuned to flashing outside this off stump or catching this slip here or firefighting over there, when it's straight, you're like, hey, what happened here? I don't believe this. And you start questioning. Don't. Just flow. Just go. That's it.
Yes.
That's all. I think I've taken
Amazing.
up a lot of airtime. Ooh,
No, but
40
I
minutes.
mean, it's really, I think uh, I'm pretty sure Tauseef can also, and I can also, keep on listening you for another
Please.
hour.
Absolutely.
I got to be up in like 5.5 hours.
But I mean, literally mesmerized by whatever, every single word, what you shared just right now, it was literally mesmerizing. And so one thing I would love to know is why. I mean, I should not ask this why, but
Please
I
do.
would love to know why joy. Like, your name. It's very fascinating, very fantastic. But how did you choose this name, Joy?
My birth name is Joy Dip.
Oh,
In
Oh,
in in Tauseef's area, I used to be called Jaideep.
oh, really?
Yeah, because that's how the Punjabis pronounce it.
Okay.
oh,
But the Bengali pronunciation is actually Joy Deep.
Joydeep.
Oh,
Yeah. But
right.
my deep is not DEEP of an island. My deep is that of a Dia, DIP. So
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
birth name,
Hmm.
right? And Tausif would understand this. Uh, I didn't have Abdullah till about 24 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a revert to Islam.
Okay.
So I came and I accepted because it gave me a lot of answers at a point in time when I wasn't asking the question, who am I? I was asking the question, why am I on this earth?
Mm.
And that you can fault this part over here that maybe I ask too many questions, I'm too curious, I've always thought too much and overthought. I'll use that word overthought because I have learned, literally learned in the last, I would say, 5 months how to use your mind to think. My today's post is literally on that. I'm doing a collaboration which is coming out in the next fortnight. So joy is has been given, again going back to personal branding. Rule number one to me, my personal rule, not anybody else's, is that never throw away your name. Your name is given to you by your parents for a particular reason. It's been given to you out of love and out of legacy. So you've got to ensure you hold that love and that legacy because otherwise you are disrespecting your parents. Whatever be your name, I
Absolutely.
mean, we make fun of a lot of people's names. and a lot of people have common names, but the names have a purpose. Number one. So for me, joy is very, very important because that's how I used to be called from the time my memory is still there, which is roughly about 4 or 5 years. I can remember when I was 4 or 5 years old, my parents used to call me Joy. I had a nickname separately. Friends used to call me Joy. Everybody used to call me Joy. The only problem was back in UK, Joy stands for a girl, and people would ask me, how do you have a name like Joy? It's so, peculiar. But it's a good conversation opener. So that's why I kept Joy. And as I said, when I found answers to purpose of life on this earth, uh, and you revert, you get Abdullah coming in on it. So that's why Abdullah. And I've always used for the past 24 years, 23 years, I've always used Joy Abdullah as my professional identity, personal identity, on my business cards, everywhere. So now my bank accounts, tax
Anyways, I
accounts.
mean, the time ever since we have seen you on the social media, for us, it
Yeah,
is Joy
okay.
Abdullah.
So I must clarify this. As I said, 2018, 3 years back, going to be 4 years now, is when I started LinkedIn was way back in 2007 or 2008. I was already it's been opened with Joy Abdullah. When I started Twitter way back in 2011 or 2010 or something, it's been with Joy Abdullah. So it's a no-brainer for me. That's what I use as my identity name. But the brand that you're seeing today in the last 2.5 years, both you, Piyush, you and Tauseef are seeing, has been cultivated. I'll use this word, cultivated
Right.
from 2018. It has been fed a solid diet of transparency and authenticity, sorry, realness. Okay. And I'm not in the business of pleasing people. I'm in the business
Hmm.
of helping you, providing
Adding
you know
value.
what help you want. Don't come to me and ping me and say, hi, sir, I'm looking for a job. I'm sorry, I'm not going to reply you. Don't come and ping to me and say, Joy, love what you wrote about there. You help so many people. Can you give me a job? Or we are a digital marketing agency and we are fantastic in SEO and SEM, and we'd like to work with you. I don't know you. If I don't know you, I don't do anything. So the point I'm trying to make here is that I value the relationships because I've learned in 2018 I didn't have a network. So now I have a network. But that network, I love the network for the support it gives. But within that network, I have a community. I have a community on LinkedIn, I have a
Hmm.
community on Twitter, I have a community on IG, and it's a very small community. It's not millions of people. It's not millions of people. It's double digit people. And that is my network. That is people with whom I don't do business. I get business referrals, I pass business referrals, but it's a community that we don't jump onto Zoom calls and we just share Telegram messages, WhatsApp messages, LinkedIn messages, Twitter messages, and we just pass stuff to each other. That's it. I mean, I recently connected with somebody who's a happiness coach, who's to be in Malaysia, has gone back to Mumbai, and connected with me because I was on a live yesterday and she was watching that live. She liked for some reason. Thank you, God. Whatever I shared on the personal branding aspect of entrepreneurs, reached out, connected. And when I saw she's a happiness coach, I said, hey, you should connect with so, and I'll do an introduction. And I did it. 5 minutes of my time, right? Both people connected, came back in, and just the thank you that comes out. It doesn't bring me 10,000 bucks or 100,000 bucks in whichever currency. But what it brings me though is that a heart full of goodwill.
Goodwill and
So
joy, absolutely.
maybe I'm too altruistic today. We need money to exist. We need money to live. I just believe I have faith. Our maker will provide all of that if you keep doing the right thing. To me, my perspective, my view only, and I want to put it out very clearly because it goes on social media. I believe the right thing is helping somebody's business be a business for the next 25 years so that that person's business can be handed over to the next generation or whoever. Now, I'm not just talking family businesses, I'm talking good B2B businesses which are carried forward. not just sold off because somebody wants to make an extra buck. That's also a good policy. But that's it. That's what drives me. That's what makes me tick.
This is really encouraging, and
Interesting.
you know, as Piyush said that we would keep on listening to you, and we would not be bothered at all. And tons of knowledge indeed. Enjoy. For me, it was unexpected. I didn't actually realize that we have learned so much today from you.
You guys are
And
great audience. That's why. Not that
okay.
I can see anybody on YouTube. I don't even know if YouTube has sent any questions or not.
So I just have a question that was actually hovering
Please
in my
ask.
mind, and as you said that you come from a very diverse background. You born and brought up in UK, came to India, traveled to various locations, worked, and actually imbibed the culture within India, and that's how you support India a lot. And then you moved down to Kuala Lumpur, and then you realized that you wanted to search the meaning of life.
1 second, just
And
pause there.
yeah, yeah.
You have to remember that I'm a third generation Indian. My parents were Indian. My
Oh,
grandparents
okay,
were Indian. My parents
okay.
were the first generation born in UK. My grandparents ran away, migrated. I mean, those days they were called freedom fighter. Today we'll call them terrorist.
So basically, your
But
roots are from India.
roots are all from India. So it's a
Nice.
mix of Delhi, Calcutta, Bengali, Punjabi mix. That's why the names are like that. All right. That's why I know Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, so to speak. All right.
Absolutely.
Sorry, just wanted to clarify
No,
that. So
that's
I'm
that's
not,
really great
I'm
that you
Indian,
clarified.
Indian as it comes.
Proud Indian, proud
Yeah,
Hindustani.
yeah.
So you moved down to Kuala Lumpur, as you said that this is going to be the 21st year of your life in Kuala Lumpur. You're well settled, as you said that you're wealthy. I loved your definition of being wealthy, so I can really resonate. So when you started your journey to really identify you being
Hmm.
you, I'm not sure whether you had self doubts or not, because as you said that you just had a cash flow of only 10 months left with you, and you had the entire life ahead of you. But let me tell you, to be honest, a lot of people in my network, I see them and they say that 55 years of age, when they reach to that point, that's their retirement time. And when you started realizing that this is the time that you need to know who you are, so, how did you overcome those self doubts? And how did you overcome the age factor also? Because, one of the fear is like getting old, getting aged. So, how did you overcome that situation?
Okay.
And how did you get the inspiration? What inspired you to do that, basically?
Let me answer the last one. How did you get inspired? If you look for inspiration, it's inside you. You were born with it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You were born
Absolutely.
with it. The
Absolutely.
question is, you need to know how to find it. And I'll come back to it. The first thing is, everything that you just said, at 55, you're supposed to retire. At 55, you're old. These are beliefs.
Absolutely.
These are societal beliefs. There is no written law in rule. Yeah, you become a senior citizen at 65. You get some advantages. You get a card. I mean, at least at our end over here, which is fine. You get discount in public transportation and ticketing and stuff like that. But there's no rule anywhere in life's books that says you can't do something right now that you want to do because you don't know if you're going to die tomorrow or the very next, after we finish this call, I might die. God forbid, But
Yeah.
it's not in control. So the day you're born for a certain particular reason. You have to understand why you were born. Now, some people are lucky, they find that answer early, if I may use biological age.
Hmm.
Some people like me, call me as I said, I come from a generation where it took me that 30 years to come out of the process to realize, hey, there's life beyond this conveyor belt. There's life beyond this hamster wheel, to ask the question, what is life? So you have the choice, and I'll use back your word. Why I wrote my chapter in that book, Becoming You, is because I asked myself, what's my fear? You said, 10 months later, I'm not going to have money, right? What's going to happen? I don't know. The first thought was, I can't afford this, I can't afford this, I can't afford this. So I actually made a list of lots of things that we can't afford. And today you'd be surprised, as a family, my wife and I are amazed at how much we wasted when I was earning, hand over fist. And I actually recalculated it back and I said, damn, if I just had even put away this much extra out of the salary, I would have stretched through for 2 years or done some, something very big. But I was ignorant. Let me use that word. I was ignorant. I did not know how because I was in a comfort scenario. I would spend. I know the salary is going to come in on the 28th of the month. I mean, pay everything done. So that's the first part. Second part was I accosted the fear and I took some help. I reached out to people that I trust. I spoke with them and I said, this is where I'm at. I was transparent. I said, what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? In 2018, my daughter was overseas in Munich doing her undergrad. I had no money to pay her fees. I went crowdfunding openly, and you can still find it probably on my LinkedIn and everything. Put it out there with my daughter and myself, my pictures, and saying, hey, for the love of a father, for her daughter, this is my scenario. I'm out of a job. I don't have a job and I can't afford to pay, and I'd really appreciate some help. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of bravery to put your face out there. But this is my daughter.
Absolutely.
This is my daughter. The person that really matters to me is what how will she look, and this is her life. She wanted to go and finish her undergrad degree overseas over there because that was what she had asked me from her 16th birthday. She said, dad, I don't want anything from my 16th, my 19th, my 18th, nothing, just I want to do this over here. So one day you guys will be, y'all are dads, and we'll understand. But as a father, the hat of a father and a hat of a mother, no sacrifice, if I may use that word, is too big. So you go and put yourself out. I'm not bothered about what the world is going to think. I'm bothered about my princess getting the best of the best that I can manage. And right now, I felt I couldn't manage. So face your fears. And Tauseef, you've done a clip on this, I think. Face your fears, you'll find them vanishing like this. Look into the mirror, and I'll give you a technique here. Try this out at yourself. Sit in a little dark room. Literally, when we were kids, we would play dark room, right? With a flashlight or whatever, hiding behind sofas and everything. Sit in a dark room, light a candle, have a mirror. Call your own name in the same monotone 10 times. See the reactions you get, the emotional reactions that happen. You know why? Our brains are not used to hearing our own voices calling our own name. Our brains are used to hearing others call our names. It's a psychological experiment. So face your fears, and you'd be surprised that, but I'm going to make a clarification. You'd be surprised how many people are there who would actually spend that hour, spend that 15 minutes. What is holding you back is your ego. It's your perception of how you would be seen by others, and that's what you have to overcome. And that's what I did. I put caution to the winds and I said, look, I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm not going to walk and become a model. I'm not going to become a movie star. I'm not a celebrity. I'm an average Joe who wants to be extraordinary, right? So, who am I pleasing? I'm only going to please those 5 clients I'm working with. And maybe I'll have 10 clients, but that's fine. And my family, right? Let's go for it. So I go for it. If somebody is busy hating me, that's your problem. I don't have the time for that. I'm not even into it. You don't like my mug, you don't like my content, bye bye. I don't share cats, dogs, whatever, roses, flowers. I don't have a soft side. As I said, I come from a generation where you are boxed. I discovered in this journey, I discovered my empathy factor was so low. It scares my family. I had to take help with teamwork from somebody who's high on empathy to be an effective leader. And I'm bringing this into jargon because I'm leading. I've got a performance to do. But if I'm not having empathy and I'm not kind to understand this guy, hey, chalo, he's late or can't do it today, I'm not going to get the best out of this person, right? So I had to take help. My wife does that for me in the family. Okay? So I am the tough love guy where kids and everything are concerned. My wife has the empathy for them. So obviously the sons gravitate to mom more than dad. I mean, dad is the squadron leader with a cane at all the time kind of thing. But anyways, so if you think you're old, you're old. Remember, I said in between, I still think I'm 35 years old and I love taking a challenge. That's my mind. Now, the journey of finding myself involved a lot of reflection, retrospection, and honesty. You got to strip away all, like onion layers. You got to strip it away all the way down to that little piece inside. Like garlic. You take away every garlic around the whole garlic thing till you come to that main seed in the middle. That's you. That's your core. So you got to strip away your designation, your tags, your egos, and everything, and put it on the side and say what really matters to me. What really matters to me? What is really important? To use, say it in Hindi, जिसके लिए मैं जान दे दूंगा without even thinking twice. What is it? And then you look at that and say, is that my passion? Or I didn't, because I didn't realize my passion till I went into this journey. My work, i.e., this humanizing business, is what I live and breathe, right? So it's like oxygen. If I don't do this, what else am I going to do? So I have to make my business successful and pay me my bread and butter because, yeah, somebody might give me a chief marketing officer role, but with my kind of streak in terms of using people and everything, until unless I get at least 70% of free way to develop for that company, I'm not going to go in. And that's it. So the last thing I'll leave with people is that, once you're over 40, we have this psychological thing in guys. I'm old. Let me tell you something. When I turned 40, I thought I was old, but it was one of the most beautiful periods of my life, the most beautiful decade. When I turned 50, I thought, that's it. That's it. I'm this way. Product life cycle is gone. I'm this way. I'm having a whale of a time. Guys, I'm 58. I'm 58. I'm loving every day. Yeah, not that, I'm trapezing out in the lockdown or watching movies or binging or something, but it's fulfilled. I use that word. You go to bed satisfied with your day's been good. Thank you, God. I mean, it's been productive, blessed. What you've got food, you've got an internet connection, you've got people who care and love for you. You love and care and you exist and do for them, right? Maybe my wants are too little or otherwise, but I say get over and identify who you are by actually talking to yourself in the mirror or writing your journal or your diary or whatever and find out what matters to you. The day you find out what matters to you, forget engineering, legal, whatever you've qualified. I qualified in finance and I worked in advertising and marketing for 33 years. An MBA finance with a marketing minor. Can you beat it? I had a job lined up in those days in Standard Chartered Bank in Forex and investment management. And I rebelled against my father, who was a chartered accountant, to say, I'm not doing chartered accountant. I went and sat for the chartered accountant's entrance exam, wrote only my roll number, and handed in a blank paper so that I'll get a duck, and told my dad I failed. And I rebelled and went to do MBA at a time when MBA was just coming in. Nobody, it wasn't a big thing 35 years ago. And my dad was like, what are you doing? And then, oh, I'll do my finance. Yeah, okay. I passed out of finance, so here's all arranged. This is a typical family lineage, He's a chartered accountant, he's a director of finance, used to work in a fantastically huge organization. My son's coming, he's graduating, can you give him a job? Yeah, sure. Stand chart. And I'm like, a pinstripe banker suit, investment management, and oh my God, no. I got recruited by J. Walter Thompson, off. I took to it like, I think I shared about it a couple of days back. I just woke up and I realized 20 years had passed between a few ad agencies and clients. I literally like Rip Van Winkle. I woke up and 20 years had passed. So the choice of wanting inspiration and perspiration
inside you.
Tauseef, you might find this, you might know this saying that is used here a lot. When you point a finger, remember there are three fingers pointing back at you.
Absolutely.
right?
True.
And I said, we are a unique creation. People is a unique creation, human being. Every single thing that we need is already. This is the biggest, I don't know what supercomputer you can call it, or the biggest AI. The thing is, you need to know how to use it. I didn't. I made it a point to go out and find. And while I'm finding and learning and getting amazed at the effect I'm able to create out of myself, I'm trying to put those into collaborative ventures to bring to the community. Take it. I mean, those who want to take it, take it. You don't want to take it, that's your choice. The choice is yours. That's it. You always choose. That's all, my friends. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I think we have another accidental engineer in our podcast as well.
Yeah, so I can completely resonate actually, because I also have started my journey at the age of 37. Now I'm 40. But as you said, I feel like 20 only. Even I'm 40. In fact, many people tell me this, that you, Piyush, you don't even look like, 40 or 35. You look like 30 or 28. And I
Thank
tell
God
them.
Piyush said that. I was going to tell him he looks 35. Maar deta na mere ko pura.
So I tell them the same thing. It's all in your head. It's all in your mindset, that whether you
Absolutely.
are feeling 35 or 40 or 50. I still feel that same energy which I used to feel at the age of 20 or 25. So, and as you say, that it's all about peeling those layers and try
See,
to find yourself.
yeah. The only
I'm
thing
sorry
I'll add
to
there. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Go
sorry
ahead,
to cut
Tauseef.
you. I'm
Sorry.
sorry
Yeah.
to cut you short. One of our viewers, Bhavin, is saying that Tauseef, I'm speechless actually, looking at the journey that Joy has actually shared, and
Actually, we
the
both were
energy,
actually
and in
Tauseef,
fact,
and we were also speechless
we were engrossed
when
actually. We were
Joy
just
was speaking.
engrossed in the your energy. We were actually matching to your vibration,
Yeah,
and
we
we
were
could add
trying actually, but
absolutely.
somehow.
Don't be speechless. I'm just an ordinary human being who has made himself extraordinary, if I may say this, because I chose that I want to do it. And it's a power that's inbuilt in all of us. And that's what I was interrupting Piyush to say, that you know we have to step out from the what we know as the norm. You got to question the norm. The best way I can give you an example is Keanu Reeves' Matrix,
Hmm.
ancient. Start questioning that hard work doesn't give me what I want. What do I want? If somebody says, I want 50 crores in my bank, okay, do a mathematics on an inflation based simple calculation, that would 50 crores actually bring us to a point? Can I
Hmm.
live my life? Now find out what do you do to earn that money, because got to generate income somehow or the
Absolutely.
other. And if you do what you love doing, if you can monetize it, it's hard, but if you can monetize it, you got it. That's it. That's all. As for speechless, don't if you choose, if you thank you for listening. You guys are great listeners, and I'm happy to share, because the whole purpose of my journey is, if I share it and it resonates and gives somebody strength,
Right.
whether it's Piyush at 40 or somebody else at my age group, if it gives strength, that's all that's required, you know. So don't be
Absolutely.
speechless. You have the capability in you to do whatsoever you choose to be. So today, if you want to do a PhD, you can do it. You can do it. Do you? The question is, would the PhD be really valuable to you? Look
Right.
at it from the always question what do you want to do. So critical thinking, decision making, to use jargon, becomes very important for self, because we go through life as kids, we are told something, then we go to school and the school tells us something, then we come out, we go to university and that tells us again something more, then between that whole muddleness we go into hard work. What is hard work? 2 hours of a commute back and forth, 8 hours
Literally.
of a boss ragda piecing, and then you come home, you're dog tired, you don't even know the time you get to see your kids and your wife if you're married is literally like a Friday night, and Saturday, and then you go on a binge on a Friday night, so you sleep in till Saturday 10 o'clock in the morning. Life happens, and then you wake up 20 years later. I'm giving you from my example. I said just now, right? I went into the ad agency and I woke up 20 years later. So stop, pause. Just start with something as simple as, what do I like? Even if it is pani puri and, whatever, just puri bhaji is fine. Just start with something simple that you really love, or that's a passion. If you don't have a passion, go reach out, ask somebody, talk to I'm sure buddies are there. Somebody who's you've been in school with for 10, 12, 15 years. Check with them. Mates like y'all. Y'all connected 2.5, 3 years ago. We three connected 2.5, 3 years ago. I don't talk to Tauseef every day or every week like you guys do, but I read what Tauseef writes. His reading and viewing gives me a picture of Tauseef's thinking. So I know tomorrow when I want to reach out to somebody, I can reach out. I.e., are you using social intelligently, socially, or are you using social as an addiction, holding your eyeballs with white noise in your brain? There's two sides of social media. Continuous scrolling, which is addiction, and white noise in the brain, just blur, nothing. But being social and intelligently, objectively using to reach that community, that's your network. When you have that network, you can create your personal brand, you can create your business brand, you can create business ideas, you can get jobs. So when job seekers write in, COVID has created a hugely bad scene for executives. You've been fired, then you run out of money. Now, for crying out loud, as much as I am a kind person, if you write a post saying, "Dear LinkedIn family, this is my 5th post and please help me over here because I can't send my child to school and I am looking for a job." Do you think a hiring manager or anybody is going to refer because I'm not getting anything out of value? Who are you? What do you do? What's your specialization? That's, if the analogy might be a bit harsh, but the point is, look at yourself and see how can you be different than Joy from Greater Kailash. I'm in Nizamuddin Joy. There's a Joy in Greater Kailash. How can you be different? Okay. I mean, just Google Joy Abdullah, and you'll see there are like 10 pages of Joy Abdullah on Google search. Right? But Joy Abdullah LinkedIn will come up first. Okay. Separate issue. But the point I'm making here is the choice of, do we want to actually ask ourselves who we are, what do we want, or just float along that construct which has been given to us. Both are good. Both are good. The choice, if you want to do hard work, if you're ambitious, I would say, okay, or purposeful, you'll get there. And it's not that it happens at 20, 30, 25, 45, 55, 75. It happens at any point. Any point. I was talking to a gentleman who's 69 or 70 earlier this week from Kerala, from Cochin actually. And part of the conversation was this last bit. I mean, aren't I too old to do anything? I said, you're never too old. Just don't go cycling and swimming with diabetes or whatever. But, you've got a whole treasure trove of knowledge. Why don't you just write, put out articles, forget about it. You've done it before. And what will happen? I said, put it out, see what happens. That's it. That's all. It's as small as that. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I have to say,
we actually lost a track of time, to be honest.
It's been an hour and
more
20
than
minutes.
Actually, more than an hour and 20 minutes. So
amazing conversation, all I can say. And
no, thank you so much.
I didn't realize that it has passed an hour, and this is one of our longest episode. And
sorry for that.
We didn't even.
No,
it's not about me. Sorry. The reason why I'm sharing it, you might think another way, but the reason why I'm sharing it, because we didn't even realize that it has been 1 hour and 20 minutes. Look at the value that it has offered, and I'm pretty sure that our audience has got a lot of value, and they will keep getting it because this live video will be available on this channel itself. And I must confess that I'm going to revisit this video once again
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Me too.
that the tons of knowledge and the value that you have added and offered in this 1 hour and 20 minutes, it's not actually a knowledge bite of 1 hour 20 minutes. It's an experience that lies behind you for over like 3 decades or so. So I
It's
think
life.
it's
It's
really
life.
valuable. It's
Yeah.
life, and that's what our purpose is. And
I'm
yeah, please
Go
please
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead, Tauseef. No, you
I
finish.
must say, yeah, I must say that because the purpose of our podcast is that whosoever comes as a guest, uh, we always encourage, and we ourselves talks about our own life experience. And usually our guest comes and they talk about their life journey, and we never realize that their life journey is itself so interesting that
Hmm,
it offers a lot of value. People, audience, and the society at large can learn from each other's journey as well, rather
absolutely.
than from the business part, like like you are doing the business and the other people who shared their journey. It was very interesting, and it is so diverse that as we say, that as you also said, Joy, that everybody has a uniqueness. It's
Yes,
all about the time that you find yourself and share
absolutely.
your journey. So I think it is going to be memorable, and then
Thank you.
people are going
Thank
to
you.
revisit
And
and watch it and have receive a lot of value. So thank you so much
absolutely.
for your time that you have actually taken out.
Not
It's
at
so
all.
late in the night, and hats off to you. I can learn that you have so much of energy, and I can catch some of it. So
No,
We can.
it's just going to be 1 o'clock. It's about 7 minutes
Oh,
away from
wow,
1
you are
a.m. at my
really.
end. No,
Yeah. I
that's okay.
mean,
I'm going to leave with this parting words, or this is it.
definitely.
Life is one life, because I love the name of your podcast. Life is one life. And a shout out to another brother in Bahrain, John Gora, who has the concept of one life. We look at life as work life and personal life or home life, right? But actually, other than changing the clothes, the body and the mind is the same. That is at home and that's at work. So and if you take body and mind to be one, that's your life, right? That's your life. The environment, your home, work, outside, whatever, might keep changing. So it's like a cinema screen that keeps going, changing. The background keeps changing, but you're adapting to that background. Your core has to be constant. Personal branding 101, my version, Joy version. Your values and your beliefs have to be one in order for your mindset, for you to know what your thinking is, your critical thinking, how be self-aware, so that that mindset controls what you say, how you do, what do you behave. And that should be, that what you say, what you do, how you behave should be adding value, either emotionally, socially, or financially. These are the three categories of values that human beings look at to the other human, whether it's spouse, your child, your brother, your sister, sibling, boss, colleague, associate, business vendor. That doesn't matter. It's a human being. That's it.
Absolutely.
One
absolutely,
life.
absolutely. So
Guys,
Absolutely.
pleasure. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Likewise, sir. Likewise, and we would love to have you once again as well, because I don't think so that we can literally package you in just 1 hour or 2 hours conversation. So we would
No, I'm
love
sorry I
to.
took over a little more. I was thinking we'll
We
keep
are
this
No,
to
no,
1 hour.
no,
we would,
not at
we
all,
would,
not at all.
we are lucky that you spend that much of time, and
Yeah,
Hey, not at all. This is the free time. See, all I'm giving up is my sleep time. But I am grateful to both of you that you allowed me the time to share. Because, hey, if I don't share this, and you guys can throw it and leave it on YouTube or do whatever, I'm sharing with the thought, hopefully somebody's going to see, maybe, they'll reach out to you or they'll do something with it to say, hey, if Joyce said this and can do this, I can do it. Good,
absolutely,
done. If
that's it.
Piyush and
absolutely.
That's it.
Tauseef have suggested this, let me talk. So that's it. What am I losing? An hour and a half or 2 hours of sleep, right? It's all right. There's always a Saturday, Sunday to get that. Not to worry. There's always a Saturday, Sunday.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Good night and take care. I mean, very soon we would love to have you once again in
Absolutely.
our show.
Done.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot for
Anytime,
your
much.
time.
Just
Thank you
reach
so
out.
much.
Tauseef bhai, just reach out. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Good
Bye
night to
bye.
you
Good
all
night.
Bye.
also.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye bye.